Hey Sean, what's going on? Why are you so stressed out?
Show's about to start in a couple minutes. I don't really have a co-anchor yet. I'm kind of getting a little nervous.
Yikes. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Wish I could help you out. I mean, I took Dan for Inside the Nest, but I actually might have a guy for you.
No, I think I know who you're talking about.
I think I know a guy.
Yo, Brian. I'm in a bit of a pickle right now, dude. The show's about to start. I have no co-anchor. You think you can do it with me?
OwlSports?
Yeah.
100%, bro.
Let's do it, man. Let's go.
Oh, what's up, Brooklyn? How you doing?
Hey, Brian.
How do I look, bro?
Dude, you look great. You know, the show's about to start. We got to go now.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. Fall sports are in full swing. Football and soccer kicked off their season, and we've got the recap.
Plus, we hit the links. A brand new semester of OwlSports Update is live, and it starts right now.
Hello, welcome to a brand new semester of OwlSports Update, and it's time for a brand new anchor duo. I'm Sean McGee, and alongside me is Brian Steinmetz. Brian, welcome to the team.
Thanks, Sean. It's great to be here, and I'm happy to be aboard. We've got a packed show for you here today, so let's get right to it. It was a busy week for Temple sports, but let's start with football's historic opener on Saturday.
More than 26,000 fans gathered at Lincoln Financial Field this past Saturday to watch Temple football kick off its season versus Bucknell. And a manic offseason headlined by Rod Kerri taking over as head coach, there was some uncertainty about how the Owls would look. Start this one in the red zone where Anthony Russo shovels a pass to Jaden Blue for an easy 6 points, capping off a 67-yard opening drive. To the defense now, who would bring down Bucknell quarterback Taryn Earl at the Bison 10-yard line after a sloppy snap by the center. The Owls would find themselves back in the red zone, this time rushing the ball. Jagger Gardner stumbles in the end zone for another Temple touchdown. Gardner ran in for 2 scores on the day, and it was the first multi-touchdown game of his career. And it's time for the Isaiah Wright show. Check this one out. He completely hurdles over the Bucknell defender before heading out of bounds. On to Bucknell's only positive highlight of the day. Gavin Pringle picks off Russo and brings it 36 yards to the house to get the Bison on the scoreboard. But that bad play didn't seem to bother Russo at all. He'll find Ramon Davis for a 51-yard score, another touchdown for the Owls. That was Russo's second of 4 touchdowns on the day. Here comes number 3. Russo steps back from the shotgun and locates Aaron Jarman in the end zone. That was the first career reception and touchdown for the redshirt freshman. Head coach Rod Kerri said we would see Isaiah Wright in the backfield this season, and here he goes. Wright breaks several tackles and sprints down the sideline to put Temple in scoring position where Ramon Davis would get that second touchdown that I mentioned earlier. Owls now up 49-12. That would pretty much do it for this one. Owls bring in Todd Centeio at quarterback, and it couldn't be a much easier drive for him. 3 plays, 95 yards, 7 points. Owls completely dominate Bucknell in this one and win it by a score of 56-12.
You love those fast starts because you're up 14-0 quick with a 3 and out in between. That's pretty demoralizing, and I thought that was a good thing. And then we kept that momentum going for a bit there, which was good.
I think we moved pretty well today. I think we did well getting the signals, getting lined up, and I think there was a couple times where, we were ready to snap the ball, and we snapped the play, and the defense wasn't set. They were still looking over for a call. So I think for us to keep pushing that tempo was big for us. Definitely still a little bit of rush there. I missed two open touchdowns on the first drive, one to Isaiah and one to Jaden Blue. So that just comes with timing, being out here on Saturdays again. Practice is one thing, but that game speed's a little bit different.
Our leaders, again, Esdod, Chappelle, Isaiah, those guys have brought me in, and Isaiah's been talking to me all week about, you're going to score, you're going to do good, just stay level-headed, and be ready.
What was going on with that? And then team presented me with the game ball, which means a lot. That will go right in the trophy case. I won't forget about that one. I don't want it to roll off right now.
It was a record-setting day for the Owls in more ways than just one. Anthony Russo set a program record by being the first quarterback to throw for 2 400-plus yard games in his career. And the team set another program record for the most passing yards in a game, totaling 507. Not a bad debut for the 18 players who took the collegiate field for the first time on Saturday. That dominant win puts the Owls at 1-0 to start their 2019 campaign, the first time Temple has won its opener since 2015.
Well, we expected to hear names like Russo and Wright, but what we didn't expect was to hear names like Blue and Davis. The record-setting win was thanks in large part to the new kids on the block, redshirt sophomore Jaden Blue and true freshman Ramon Davis.
The present sure looked nice in Temple's 44-point win over Bucknell, but it was the future that actually looks even brighter. Redshirt sophomore Jaden Blue had 10 catches for over 100 yards and a touchdown, while true freshman Ramon Davis scored 2 touchdowns, 1 in the air and 1 on the ground.
There were a lot of guys out there when the game was in question. It was their first college football game. And it was good to see them get out and play and get their feet wet and feel that energy. It's a different feel.
In addition to his 2 touchdowns, Davis led the team with 60 rushing yards, and Blue's 10 catches led the team as well.
Both Ramon Davis and Jaden Blue had a lot of emotions coming into the game, but all that went away when the ball was snapped.
I was a little nervous. It was a lot of my teammates. Again, I thank my teammates. A lot of those guys kept me level-headed and just said, go out there and play your game. It's something you've been doing your whole life, and I was pretty excited. I was nervous the first time I touched the ball, but after that, it was just kind of a tempo game for me.
Being a young guy, you feel me, it just shows how much your coaches trust you. And in my opinion, how much they trust you, and they got to be able to, you feel me, if you're young, you got older guys over you, being able to come out there and show it every day. But on top of that, just having the trust from your coaches to put you out there.
It wasn't too long ago that Temple had another sophomore breakout playmaker. Now, 2 years later, Isaiah Wright is a single-digit senior leader. Both Jaden Blue and Ramon Davis are hoping to follow suit.
Yeah, Kerri's setting up this offensive dynamic where competition is key, no matter what your graduation year or experience happens to be. In fact, 8 different Owls rushed the ball at least once, and 11 different receivers caught the ball at least one time. It was a dominant game overall for the Owls on Saturday, but what really stood out was the offense, which scorched Bucknell for 56 points.
Yeah, that's right. An absolutely electric performance from the Owls offense. Inside the Nest reporter Dom Gillespie was at the game, and now he's at the Plasma to talk more about this point. Dom?
Thanks, Sean. A point differential of 44 big ones in Temple's win on Saturday. However, the Owls had the edge in time of possession by only 1 minute. This is largely due to the fact that Kerri's new offense emphasizes putting pressure on all defensive players. Since being announced head coach, Kerri has been focusing on the team's conditioning with the goal of wearing down opposing defenses. If done well, this can lead to costly mistakes and a lot more end zone action for the Cherry and White. And we know, at least for now, the quarterback likes this game plan.
High school, I was all huddle up. Freshman year with Coach Rowe, we were huddle up, and then the last 2 years we were no huddle. But I've never been in something this fast paced, and I think it works to our advantage. Like I said, there was a couple times where we're snapping the ball and the defense still isn't even set. We had won. Brandon Mack was supposed to run a go ball, and there's no corner over there, so he just, being smart, turns right away. I just caught the snap and got it out to him. So I think that fast pace has definitely helped us out.
To add to that, one could notice that Russo was getting the ball out of his hands at lightning speed. Combo that with the up-tempo offense, and the Owls waltz to what should be the easiest win of the season. The Owls can't get too comfortable with this type of soft defensive play. With Maryland on the horizon, whose defense was certainly on display in Week 1, embarrassing Howard 79-0. In the words of Rod Carey, there is a strict 24-hour policy, so it's good to forget Bucknell and have all eyes on Maryland these coming weeks. Reporting from Plasma, I'm Dom Gillespie. Sean and Brian, back to you guys.
Thanks, Dom. No doubt the offense was electric, but the other side of the ball might have been just as good. Temple's defense didn't give up a single touchdown versus Bucknell and only allowed 0.8 yards per rush.
Yeah, anytime you keep the opposing offense out of the end zone, there's an excellent chance you'll come out on top. Let's take a look ahead to some players who should play a big role in Temple's defense this season.
Okay, there's a lot of guys that stand out, but I'm going to start out with the redshirt junior, Isaiah Graham Mobley. Keep an eye out for this man. He's just been awarded a single digit. He'll be wearing number 8 this season, going back to the same number he wore in high school at Upper Marion. Of course, single digits are a staple of Temple football, so his team clearly trusts him, and rightfully so. He had a monster season in 2018, totaling 44 more tackles than he did the year before, and I expect him to take another leap this season, both as a player and a leader. Brian, who's the guy that stands out to you?
Well, I'm going to go with a guy whose numbers don't jump off the screen, but someone who's definitely making an impact every time he touches the field. Redshirt junior Dan Archibong, who was awarded a single-digit jersey number this season as well. He's a leader out on the field and always finds himself in the backfield, rushing the passer and just causing absolute chaos for offensive lines. He's expected to step up after the departure of defensive end Michael Dogby, who's now playing on Sundays for the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, Brian, call me biased, but I'm going to go with another Sean as my player to look out for this season. That's the senior linebacker, Sean Bradley. Like our previous two players, Bradley is also a single digit and expected to lead the Owls defense this season. In fact, he was named to the 2019 Bednarik Award watch list entering the 2019 college football season, which has been presented to the College Defensive Player of the Year since 1995. But hey, we could talk about this team all day. We'll leave that to the Inside the Nest crew on Tuesdays.
Yeah, instead, it's time for our first break of the day.
But don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, we're talking soccer and their busy week back on campus.
2 games in 5 days. We have the recap on both, plus we'll take a look ahead to their season schedule. OwlSports Update will be back in 90 seconds. All right. Welcome back. After stumbling out of the gate against Wake Forest, losing 3-0, the Owls traveled to Baltimore, where the women evened their record with a win against UMBC. Morgan Morocco, Emma Wilkins, and Bella Sorrentino all scored goals for the Owls as they took down the Retrievers 3-1 to earn their first win of the season. But on short rest, the women dropped their next game just 3 days later to Sacred Heart. Gabriella Johnson scored the only goal for the Owls. The women will look to even their record once again with their home opener against Lehigh Thursday night, and then again at home over the weekend versus Nova on Sunday at 1 p.m.
Let's jump to the men's side, a nighttime showdown to kick off their season. This one down at Howarth Field. Not much action going on in this one, but Temple did have some early opportunities. Freshman Ali Camara hustles down the sideline for a shot on goal, but he can't get the finish. As a matter of fact, the only finish in this one came from Rutgers in the 50th minute. They end up handing Temple the loss 1-0, having the Owls start their season at 0-1. Following the game versus Rutgers, the team faced off against nationally ranked Georgetown. The Owls did have a strong start against the Hoyas by creating early opportunities, with freshman Amir Cohen getting a shot on goal in the 5th minute, but that was about all the action they'd find. Georgetown controlled the rest of the game, and Temple gets shut out in this one by a score of 3-0. The Owls are 2 games into the year and still looking for that first goal. That nationally ranked game versus Georgetown is one of the many difficult games on the Owls schedule this year.
Yeah, and here to talk more about the tough journey Temple faces ahead is OwlSports Update's Tyrone Sharper. Hey, Tyrone.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. The men's soccer team struggled last year with just 5 wins, but this was enough to get them into the conference tournament. Now, heading into the second season with head coach Brian Rowland, the Owls are facing one of the toughest schedules they've seen in a while.
Two games into the 2019 season, and it hasn't been an easy ride for the men's soccer team. 2 losses to Rutgers and nationally ranked Georgetown, and it won't get much easier as Temple is facing one of its toughest schedules in recent memory.
Our goal is to win as many games as we can to put us in the best position in the conference, to win a conference regular season championship or even a conference tournament championship, to play as long as we can, get into the NCAAs and see how well we do until then.
The overall goal is doing the championship, at least going NCAA tournament, but obviously doing something better than last year, try to bring some wins, more wins than last year obviously, and get a lot of positive things from this year. From this season is going to be interesting because we have a really good team.
Last year, the Owls won just 5 games, but that was still enough to make the conference tournament where they finished in 4th place. Making the AAC tournament is always the first goal.
Obviously, our conference is a very good conference that's put 3 teams into the NCAA tournament. So we think that the schedule is very challenging, but we feel like our group is in a place where they can meet that challenge, and we'll learn a lot about our group as the season goes on.
Now, the Owls' schedule doesn't get any easier as they prepare to take on the undefeated Villanova Wildcats on Saturday.
After Nova, the Owls continue to play close to home with 2 games at the Sports Complex versus Lafayette and Delaware before heading to West Philly for a game against Penn.
All right, Tyrone, thanks, man. Good stuff you had for us, but it's time for our second break of the day. We're hitting the links, and we have some more field hockey to get to after the break.
Plus, a busy week for field hockey down on Howarth Field. We'll take you back to the turf after the break and dive into the team's stellar start to the season. Don't go anywhere. OwlSports Update is back right after this.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Back down to Howarth Field we go, where the field hockey team began its season versus Merrimack on Friday. It was a shutout for the Owls to begin the Susan Chufo era. The scoring began in the second half, though, with junior Danny Bates and freshman Sydney Beck both finding the back of the net. One last goal from Catherine Edgar, which seals the game and the win for the Owls, 3-0. The game versus Merrimack was just one of 2 on the week for the field hockey team. The second coming against Philadelphia rival LaSalle. This one ending just as well as the previous. Another strong showing from the Owls defense, holding LaSalle scoreless all game. But let's get to some offense. Temple finds the back of the net off the stick of Danny Bates. That was the only goal on her 3 shots of the day. Kerri Lorenz up next with a shot that sneaks by the keeper to extend the Owls' lead. Lorenz had 1 goal and 1 assist on the day. One more goal from the Owls wraps this one up. They start the season 2-0 after back-to-back shutout wins.
From field hockey to the Greens now. After graduating most of their traveling squad last spring, Temple's golf team anticipates junior Dawson Anders' return after a successful summer traveling the East Coast, contending in some prestigious tournaments.
It was a summer Dawson Anders had been waiting for. A summer of blue skies and fast greens for the junior golf captain, playing in some of the most elite amateur tournaments in the country.
I had a good summer. I tried to play and practice every day. I qualified for the U.S. Amateur for the first time after years of trying. Then top 12 at the Eastern Amateur down in Virginia.
I gave Dawson a call maybe like a week prior to him going down to Pinehurst. Just told him like the do's and don'ts about the USAM. It can be extremely overwhelming with 312 of some of the best golfers in the world. Definitely a lot to take in at once. Just play his game. I mean, the kid's got unbelievable talents.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a captain as a junior has made me become much more of a leader on the team. I've learned a lot from the seniors the last 2 years from them, on the course, off the course, how to manage time.
With the fall schedule looking similar to last year, Coach Teasdale is optimistic about the new, younger team and its anticipated performance.
So I'm just looking forward to the first one of the year, Cornell, in about 2 weeks. It's our most important one. It's our first one as like basically a brand new team with 5 seniors gone. We have a few returnees, but I'm looking to see how the guys are going to compete.
Only 5 golfers will travel September 14th and 15th. The lineup should be set next week as the players fight for their spot. From the 1912 Golf Club in Plymouth Meeting, I'm Stephen Reifsnyder, OwlSports Update.
After the Cornell Invitational, the Owls head to North Carolina and then to Ohio in a busy fall travel season for this young team. Temple's volleyball team started off with a tournament sweep at the UMBC Invitational with wins over Fairfield, Lafayette, and host UMBC. This 3-0 start is Temple's best since 2014. Sophomore Jem Grimshaw and junior Avery Salvador were named to the all-tournament team. Grimshaw led the Temple offense with almost 4 kills per set. As for Salvador, she was a shade below 6 digs per set. That goes along with her 4 aces.
And I'm going to take you back outdoors where both the men's and women's cross-country team kicked off their 2019 season this past weekend at the Lehigh Invitational. The men's side seemed to have a team mentality as 8 of the Owls' 9 runners finished within 2 seconds of each other. David Westcott clocked the best time for Temple with the finish of 19 minutes and 52 seconds. For the women's squad, freshman Kat Shantz notched a top 10 overall finish in her first race, finishing with a time of 22 minutes and 49 seconds. Both the men and women will be back in action at the Iona Meet of Champions on September 20th. And all this talk about cross-country has me ready to run to the last break of the show.
Yeah, after the break, Shar and I will reveal our Owls of the Week and look back to one of the biggest plays from the weekend. OwlSports Update, we'll be right back. Welcome back to OwlSports Update.
In a busy week of Temple sports, there were many Owls that soared to the top. Brian and I have decided to highlight 2 of those athletes that really stood out. These are our Owls of the Week. Brian, I'll let you start.
Well, thanks, Sean. For me, it was more than 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Makes the decision pretty simple. Quarterback Anthony Russo, hardly a mistake on Saturday, and earned himself a spot on the conference's honor roll for the week. And oh, by the way, those 4 touchdown passes ties a career high. Russo was the main factor in the Owls setting a program record with 695 yards of total offense.
Brian, you make a great case, but I'm going to go with field hockey stud midfielder Kerri Lorenz. To start off, she was named the Big East Player of the Week, and she's also led the Owls to a 2-0 start to the year. Remember, this is a team that had 2 wins all last season. I mean, talk about turning a program around. Lorenz has unquestionably made her presence felt, and if she keeps this play up, there's a lot to look forward to for this team. Now, those are our Owls of the Week, but we want to know what you think. Let us know your thoughts by following us on Twitter at OwlSportsUpdate. We'll have a poll up, and you can vote on who made the better case, or even let us know if you disagree with the both of us. Owls of the Week to Play of the Week. A lot of games to choose from, but I think the choice is pretty simple, even though this time it's not up to me.
Yeah, I'll take week 1 for this one. The Owls scored 8 touchdowns on Saturday, and any of those would fit the bill for Play of the Week, but one in particular stood out to me as of one, if not the biggest of them all. Let's roll the tape. About a minute to go, just before the half ended, Temple found itself in a 1st and 10 from its own 49-yard line. Russo looks to an open Ramon Davis near the sideline and connects on the bubble screen, and just look at him fly. 51 yards down the sideline for the touchdown, and that score puts the Owls up 35-9 going into halftime. I mean, a play like that completely deflates the opposing team, and that showed in this case. After this play, the Bison only scored on a field goal in the 3rd quarter. It's a razzle-dazzle play where Davis just blows by everybody, and for all intents and purposes, just puts this one away only in the first half. Expect to see a lot more of this action from the Owls all season long. And as shown earlier, Davis lit up the field all game long, as did Russo. So don't be shocked if you see either of them back on Play of the Week later in the semester. But let's focus later on this week for now. Here are the upcoming games this weekend.
Brian, good stuff. The football team has a bye week, so they'll not be playing this weekend, but there's still plenty of Temple sports going on. Women's soccer is taking on Villanova on Sunday afternoon and will look to recover from a rough week. Also, a busy weekend for field hockey. 2 games in 2 days, one versus Kent State, the other versus Maine, both in Ohio.
And just like that, the women's squad, men's soccer, faces off against Villanova, and the volleyball team heads to the nation's capital for the American Volleyball Classic, where they will play Ohio, Winthrop, and American University.
From football to golf to soccer to cross country, it was a busy week for Temple sports. But unfortunately, we have to wrap this edition of OwlSports Update. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday for another episode of Inside the Nest with Brooklyn Vaughn and Dan Wilson for coverage on Temple football.
And be sure to follow us on all of our social media at OwlSports Update for the details on all things Temple sports. For Sean McGeehan, I'm Brian Steinmetz. Have a great weekend, everybody.